there guys, I'm Bo Lorenzen and welcome to another VR boat tour. Today I'm going to show you a completely one-off carbon fiber race boat that has been converted into a cruising boat you can live aboard. This is 77 feet of carbon fiber boat with an enormous carbon fiber mast, boom furling sail, and 100% push button operation. You can single hand this 77-foot boat. Before we get on board, make sure you click subscribe, grab your VR headset, and enjoy how you can look around and see all the different angles as we go. Today we are going to do this a little bit differently. Normally I stumble my way through the boat with some fairly bad information. With me today I have Jim, who is the owner of the boat. He knows stuff. So Jim, how did you get into this boat? This is not a Beneteau.
No, certainly not a Beneteau. It was a decision to look at something. We actually owned a Beneteau.
Oh, congratulations.
And we wanted something larger and something fast for the light winds that often happen here.
And this is 77 feet.
77, yes. And we were looking around for boats to modify.
Okay.
Up to 80 feet long. And even went to Spain, out through the Northwest, looking for something. And we found this boat actually in Rhode Island.
And this was originally designed to be a carbon fiber race boat.
Yes, yep.
So
with a crude racing boat. And it did race quite a bit under its previous name, Sleigh Ride.
What kind of speeds are we talking about? You say you wanted to go faster.
As a race boat, it was doing 20 to 25 knots, the perfect conditions. Out here I've done 16 knots, which is plenty fast.
Yeah, I've gone 3 knots in mine.
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
Yeah, so that's definitely faster.
Typically, the hull speed is about 12 knots on the boat. So if you want to go faster than 12 knots, you need to put up the chute and have the right wind conditions.
Put a lot of energy into it.
Yeah, because you got to get beyond the hull speed.
But you can go with normal amounts of energy, 12 knots.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nice. And it's just one person is all you need entirely to sail the boat.
How much did we modify this boat? From what I understand, the only thing that's left here is the hull and the mast and the keel.
Yes, and the rudder.
And the rudder.
Yeah. But then everything else was modified and removed and rebuilt actually here in California, in Southern California.
So as we're here now, I know you have a big galley on board and you have an amazing owner's cabin.
Yes.
And you have a guest cabin.
Yes.
How many can we sleep?
In the cabin, you can sleep 8 comfortably. Wow. And then additionally, it's a very large cockpit. You can put another 4 people in the cockpit. So, it's very comfortable. I've had 14 people on board for 4 days, guys out at the island having a good time. So it'll accommodate quite a few people. For day sails, if you're not spending the night, we've had 20 people on board.
And I guess one of the things that's very clear in this boat is how you have the cockpit here.
Yes.
There is no work area here.
That's one of the attractions.
And you go back, you get behind the arch, and that's the all work area.
Correct, yeah. And I must say the original boat had that same concept.
Oh, really?
Yes, yep.
And you could say you can sail this by yourself?
Yes, yep. Not that I ever want to, because that's relying on everything working, right?
Yes. But so you can sit. You have power furl, your main, and your head sail.
Everything is powered. Yeah, hydraulically powered.
Hydraulically.
Yep.
What does it take to operate all of this? You're running around. You're standing at your helm.
Yeah, it's all at the helm. You may notice as we tour the boat more that there's no exposed lines anywhere. Everything's under deck. The only place we see them is back with the winches. And it's very simplified.
So let's start at the front.
Yeah.
What do we have in terms? You have anchor?
We have the anchor. It's on an arm which retracts and is stowed away, so it's out of the way and
nice.
Visibly it's nice that it's gone. There's a bowsprit hydraulically actuated for the spinnaker that extends an additional 8 feet to maximize that length for the large spinnaker.
So you have the jib, you have spinnaker?
Yes.
You have a Genoa?
No. We have multiple jibs, but in terms of your typical Genoa, which would be a long broad sail, that's not the design of the boat. This is more traditional with a very large main and a smaller jib in terms of the square footage. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you have your mast
and it's
forward.
also then self-tacking.
Nice.
which is really nice. If you're beating up into the wind, you can just turn the wheel and you just keep going back and forth. It's very simple. Both of them just come back and forth.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it makes it very...
That's like when I was sailing dinghies.
Yeah, with single sail, yeah.
Yes, this is just a little
and
bit
it does feel a bit like that in the sense, because it's all carbon, it's relatively light for its length. And we were talking about what's up forward. In addition to that, there's also a bow thruster, which is nice when you're docking.
And stern?
No, just forward.
I think retractable.
Yes, a retractable bow thruster. It's a vertical that comes up into the hull, and then the hull itself is totally clean. It's not one of these through-hole units where you have
I don't like those.
Yeah, so it's
not like a turtle.
It's very clean like that. And as you move aft, of course, you come to the mast. It's set up with multiple halyards. It's a mast with multiple halyards. Again, carbon fiber. And probably the key noticeable difference from the original rig is the fact that now we have a roller furling boom. So there's no need to flake the sail when you drop it. It actually rolls up. You can typically go ahead and reef the sail at any spreader height that you want. Typically you like to have the head of the sail at a spreader, just from a load standpoint. So yeah, it's
and
very
of course,
flexible.
One of the big advantages of a roller boom versus a furling mast.
Yes, the battens.
Yes.
It's a fully batten main with a good roach on the top of it there to maximize the area.
You get a lot more sail out of it.
Yeah.
And a lot more effective.
Keep good form. Yeah.
So coming further back,
yes,
the sheeting, it's not jerming. You're running off just one winch?
Off of one winch, yeah. There's one dead end on the sheet, and then comes up through one sheave, and basically the boom is controlled by that, and then also the vang, which is hydraulic. So you can position the boom really wherever you need it. Works out quite well, yeah.
And what kind of navigation do we have?
The primary units are Furuno chart plotters. They're really massive computing machines that very, very capable for about anything you can imagine. And it's dual, so with a dual helm.
Right.
We have basically mirrored helms, so everything is duplicated.
Yeah, I noticed you have throttle controls for the engines on both sides.
Yes, yep.
So if Jim already told us about it, but here you are. Take a look at the helmsman position. You can see forward. You have a clear sight line of all of the boat. Here you have your navigation station, and over there you have the thruster. You have the on-off button for the thruster. You have the engine control right here. Of course, you have your autopilot and gravity. Notice that button that says gravity right there, that starboard port. So you have a forward and an aft water ballast tank that you can move between the two sides of the hull as you want by moving these 10,000 gallons, that's a lot of water, back and forth, and that way we can stabilize the boat. If you're on attack, we can get it nice and level, and we can get it to where the water line is going to give us the most speed. Carbon fiber wheels. I almost made a ding in the ceiling when I lifted the chair that turns out to be carbon fiber at the workstation. So there you have it. Here's the main sheet right here, by the way. And then you have the jib over here on the other side. So you can literally operate all of this boat right here. 77 feet of carbon fiber goodness.
Yeah.
That's coming back to, you made this to be a one
person operation.
Wow.
So
tender garage?
Nice. Yes, in the garage we currently have a 10-foot long rib and a couple kayaks.
All in the same garage?
Yeah, it's actually quite a bit of volume.
Wow.
But again, the design concept was to keep the boat clean, not have kayaks hanging off of the rails, and just the whole idea was to keep it very clean.
Clean it is.
Yeah, and that was my son's concept when he
Really?
designed the boat. Yeah. He was involved at the very beginning, both in us finding the boat, selecting it, and deciding to go ahead and modify it and turn it into a fast cruiser.
Where do people look to see more of his work?
AdamVoorhees.com.
I'll put that in the description.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the interior, because it's quite amazing. And I want to really quickly bring up a thing we noticed coming in. There are additional portholes on the side. Do you have crew quarters in the back?
No, we didn't go as far as putting any kind of accommodation for crew, but there is room that you could have room for 2 people, a captain and crew, if
Yeah, I
you
noticed
wanted
that
to.
you essentially could make 2 additional
Yes.
cabins.
Yeah.
But as it is now, let's go to the front. You have a owner's cabin.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about this.
Yeah, the very forward end is a true head center, and it also includes a shower. That enclosure there, and as you come aft from that, you have a bed that starts as a queen, and then because of the taper of the bow ends up at double size, very very standard, and quite a few lockers, cabinets, drawers, a lot of storage. The boat has a lot of storage throughout, not only formally inside, but also in the lazarette in the stern. There's enormous storage.
It's a big boat.
It is a big boat, yeah.
But I love the wood paneling you have. The
teak.
textured wood.
Yeah, the teak.
That's teak?
It was something that my son designed. It's actually computer milled to look like waves in
No
the
way.
random. Yeah. So
I was wondering. I was like, is this like sandblast?
yeah. So a lot of the boat is just very clean white surfaces.
Yes.
But then that's kind of the accent that runs throughout the boat is that wood.
That's a very cool feature.
It makes it very nice. And then of course the carbon, the sole is all carbon fiber too. I mean the boat is entirely carbon fiber, keeping it light.
Wow.
Yeah.
I still can't get my head around all that carbon fiber. Tell me about the Galley.
Yeah, the Galley accommodates 2 people for working in it, and it's complete. It doesn't have a dishwasher. That gets to be somebody on board. But other than that, it has everything you'd expect. It has a refrigerator and a separate freezer, all powered, of course, and microwave, 3-burner range, double sink, Corian. I mean, it's all very nicely put together in white, and also very hidden.
Yeah, I
And
know.
we get a chance to go in. You wouldn't know you're in the Galley other than the sink showing, but the rest of it's all hidden.
Yeah, you don't get the feeling of a Galley.
Yeah,
Until it gets popped open, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're like, wow, it's all
Yeah.
here.
I might mention too that between the master cabin and the main cabin, sorry, we must be correct. Between the main cabin and the Galley is what we call the library, and it's has books, and it's also storage like a pantry area, but then it has a single bunk that converts into double bunk. So there's accommodation for 2.
Yeah, I noticed that you can add an additional
Yeah,
bunk in
yeah.
there.
It actually is part of the base of the single bunk becomes an upper
That's
bunk.
amazing.
So if you need the space, you can make it happen. Yeah.
One of the cool things you're not seeing is that all the doors can be opened in multiple positions. They're controlled down here, so by releasing this, I can now move the door. And behind the door, we are right now in the library and the passageway where there's 2 different bed options. There's one here and an additional bed or perch on top. Here, piece de resistance, is the bottom of all that carbon fiber mast. Every time I see this one, I just start grinning like a little girl. This is awesome. That's a lot of carbon fiber. Back to Jim. Well, but this boat was not created to be a charter boat with sleeps 12.
Not at all.
Not
It was,
ideally.
it was created to be a family boat, and they take out your friends, and we've used it for business opportunities too,
But it's
especially
really that
nonprofits.
Yeah, that you can drive this single-handed
Yeah.
means you can bring a bunch of friends, business acquaintances
Yes.
out without having to worry about their skill level.
Correct. I'm required to have 1 additional sailor on board.
Insurance.
Insurance. It's a large boat, and you just want to have that capability, especially if something occurs, if somebody decides to jump overboard. These things.
And you laugh, but non-sailors really have no idea how hard it is to get an accidental overboard back on board.
Especially if you're in big winds, rough seas, and the wind's blowing
And
30.
doing 15, 20 knots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very complicated, it's a very serious situation.
And if they're injured, of course, it gets to be very complicated.
But that's where you can lower your,
Yeah.
Tailgate
You got
and
that
scoop them
opportunity
up.
to get right down to the water.
which is, for that purpose, is brilliant.
Yeah, and the tailgate is also teak. It's a beach. When we're at anchor, we leave it down, and that's also your nice access to get on board and on and off with dinghies, and it's also just very comfortable. Of course, there's a shower back there, all those normal things you'd expect.
On 77-foot boats, you would expect, yes.
I mean,
Carbon fiber chair. You don't really appreciate it right away, but when you look around this cabin, you actually have to walk from the companionway down to here, and you have to walk over to the galley. That is what's the 77-foot thing. This is such a big boat. Amazing. Let's also take a look at the guest cabin. Here you have a very nice queen-size cabin. Jim is demonstrating the access, in-suite access, directly from the cabin to the day head. Notice that the door, he's releasing the lock so that the door can be locked in multiple positions. Here I am again. Now the cabin is open out to the galley. And here is the day head. Notice the teak grid and also the finish everywhere and the carbon fiber. Now you can again see the galley. So you can run the air conditioning for a couple of days without turning on the generator?
not true. If you run air conditioning, you need a generator.
Okay.
Yeah, but everything else basically just runs off the batteries. Microwaves, hair dryers, whatever.
Yeah, I've never used a hairdryer on a boat.
Well, we do have occasional crew that likes to get, cleaned up for supper.
So you have a generator on board, and you have a
Main engine.
Yanmar?
Yeah, Yanmar, 105 horse.
105 horse.
Yeah, and the
sailboat.
the generator is actually a multi-purpose engine. Obviously generates power, but also it can run the hydraulics directly, as opposed to the main hydraulics are run off the batteries. We didn't want to have an engine running while we're sailing, of course. So you have the electric over hydraulic system running off the batteries. But you've got those two features, the hydraulics and the generator, but it also runs one of the water pumps, the large water pumps, because the boat has water ballast.
Which is one of the amazing features here, that you have a very fast water balance.
Yeah. There's it's a 10,500 pound of water you can put on either side, which is nice because you've got over 2,700 square feet of sail. So it's good to have the water ballast, and you can make use of that as the wind boosts. And sometimes, I've had a group on board that's not comfortable. I can use a lot of water ballast and make the boat feel very stable and sluggish and unusually not like its normal self.
But they feel more comfortable.
Of course, yeah. And that, it's very,
it's an
very
amazing
easy.
boat.
Yeah, it's very nice. I mean, the heads are, press one button and it goes through its own cycle. You don't have to worry about a lot of detail to make the boat work.
But we should mention,
Yeah.
as amazing as it is, this boat is currently on the market.
Yes.
So if this is some boat that amazes you as much as it amazes me, and you have a bigger checkbook, check out in the description, because this boat is listed. We have the broker phone number and email down in the description.
Yes.
And of course, make sure to subscribe. We've got more videos coming up. And Jim, thank you so much for letting us check the boat out. Is there anything we forgot to ask you about?
Oh, I'm sure there's details about all the electronics and the subwoofers and all the,
Subwoofers.
Yeah, of course, and and the lighting, the special lighting, multicolor, all the nice, cool things to impress your friends.
Yeah, but this is basically a super yacht.
Yeah.
That is a single-handed sailboat.
If it was 80 feet instead of 77, it'd be considered a maxi.
So 3 feet short.
3 feet short, but if I put the boom spread out and just leave it out, then
there
I'm
you
85.
Okay, so you can raise it as a maxi.
Yeah.
While keeping the drinks from sliding off the table.
Yes, of course.
Wow. Thank you so much for letting us come
Yeah,
on board
thank you
today.
for coming and checking the boat out.
Oh, my pleasure. This is amazing.